Welcome back to Midnight Curiosity. I'm Atlas, and I am glad you are here. Tonight, we are going to move slowly through 5 Stoic ideas, each one a gentle tool for how you might live and rest more easily. There is nothing to prove tonight, nothing to rush toward. We will speak about discomfort, about how our minds trick us, about time, about what truly matters, and about the shape of your concern. So settle into where you are, let your shoulders soften, and let us begin. Chapter 1. Voluntary Discomfort. There is an old practice the Stoics loved, and it might sound strange at first, but stay with me. The idea is this. Sometimes, on purpose, you choose a small difficulty, not because you must, but because you choose to. Imagine a person who always takes a warm shower in the morning. Tomorrow, they take a cold one instead, only for a moment, just enough to feel it. They are not punishing themselves. They are practicing something else entirely. They are reminding their own body and mind that discomfort is not an enemy, that they can meet it and survive it and even become stronger from it. The Stoics believed that when you voluntarily face small hardships, you do something powerful. You break the habit of fear. You learn that you are more resilient than your comfort has told you. And here is the deeper part. When real difficulty comes, unbidden and unwanted, you will not be shocked. You will not be broken. You have rehearsed. Think of it like this. If you have never felt cold, the first winter feels like a catastrophe. But if you have chosen coldness before, if you have sat with it and breathed through it, then winter is simply weather, not a betrayal. This is not about suffering for its own sake. The Stoics were not cruel to themselves. They were practical. They knew that life would bring discomfort whether they wanted it or not. So they said, why not meet it halfway? Why not choose a small version now so that when the large version arrives, you are not meeting it for the first time? Tonight, as you rest, you might reflect on this quietly, not with ambition, just with curiosity. What small discomfort could you choose tomorrow? A cold splash, a brief fast, wearing something less warm than usual. Nothing that harms you, nothing that goes against wisdom or health, but something real enough that you feel it, something that whispers to you, I am stronger than I knew. And as you lie here in your comfort now, you can rest knowing that strength is not only built in crisis, it is built in the small choices you make when no one is watching, when you are not forced, when you could easily choose ease instead. Chapter 2. The Passions as Errors. We use that word often, passion. We speak of passionate love, passionate anger, passionate desire. We treat these feelings as though they are truths, as though they are wisdom. But the Stoics saw something different. They saw the passions not as truth, but as mistakes, errors in judgment. Picture a person who learns their friend has not texted them back all day. Immediately, a story blooms. The friend is upset. The friend does not care anymore. The friendship is ending. The person feels a crushing sadness, a quiet rage. But here is what is real. A text was not sent. That is all. Everything else is a story the mind invented. The Stoic teaching is this. Your passions feel like they are telling you reality, but they are not. They are telling you how your mind has interpreted events. They are conclusions you have drawn so quickly that you did not notice you were drawing them. Anger, for instance. When you feel angry, you feel as though someone has wronged you, and your anger is the correct response to that wrong. But the Stoics ask, did they intend to harm you? Did they know the impact of their action? Did you give them a chance to explain? Or did you simply assume their intention and then feel justified in your rage? Fear works the same way. You feel afraid, and the fear seems to be proof that danger is real. But fear is your mind saying what if, not what is. This does not mean your feelings are not real. They are real. You genuinely feel them. But they are not infallible reports of the world. They are your mind making rapid guesses, and guesses can be wrong. The practice is this: when a strong passion arrives, pause, not to suppress it, not to shame yourself for feeling it, but to ask gently, what story have I told myself? What assumption have I made? Is it certain, or am I guessing? What might be another way to see this? Often, when you examine the passion this way, it loosens. It does not vanish, perhaps, but it loses its grip. It becomes something you are experiencing, rather than something that is controlling you. Tonight, as you rest, you might notice any emotions that still linger from the day. Rather than believing them completely, you might hold them lightly. You might whisper to yourself, "This is what my mind has made of today. But there is more I have not seen, and in the morning I may understand differently." Chapter 3. Seneca on the Shortness of Life. There was a Roman philosopher named Seneca who spent much of his life in positions of power and influence. He was wealthy. He had authority. He could command almost anything he wanted. And yet, he wrote often about something that bothered him deeply. How short life is. How quickly it passes. How many of us arrive at old age without ever truly living. Here is what he observed. People live as though they have infinite time. They say they will rest when they are old. They will love deeply when circumstances improve. They will think about what matters when life is less busy. But by the time circumstances improve, they are older, and then they are old, and the time for living has mostly passed. Imagine a person who spends 40 years working toward a goal. They sacrifice presence. They delay joy. They postpone meaning. They tell themselves it is temporary, that soon they will have time to truly live. But then 40 years have passed, and they are tired, and life looks the same as it always did, only now they have less energy to change it. Seneca's teaching was radical. He said, "Your life is not long because you will have it someday. Your life is the moments you are in right now. This conversation you are having or not having, this meal, tasted or not tasted, this person beside you, noticed or ignored, this moment, lived or squandered." He was not advocating recklessness. He was not saying abandon all responsibility. He was saying something deeper. He was saying, recognize that you are not promised tomorrow. Not because tomorrow will not come, but because your presence in tomorrow is not guaranteed. So what would you do differently today if you really accepted that? If you had truly loved, would you spend so much time angry at the people you love? If you had truly valued your time, would you waste so much of it on things that do not matter to you? If you had known this day was precious, would you have moved through it so unconsciously? This is not meant to create anxiety. It is meant to create clarity, and perhaps a kind of gratitude for the days you have had, for the people you have known, for whatever comes next. Tonight, as you rest, you are not accomplishing anything. You are not moving toward any goal. You are simply here, breathing, alive, and that is enough. That is everything. Let that be true for you now, without needing to earn it or prove it. You are alive today. That was not guaranteed, but it happened. Chapter 4. Preferred Indifferents. Here is an idea that might seem to contradict what I just told you, but it does not. The Stoics believed in something they called preferred indifference. And I want to explain this gently because it is important and subtle. The Stoics taught that some things in life are truly in your control: your intentions, your efforts, your character, how you respond. These things are what matter morally. These things are where virtue lives. Everything else, they said, is indifferent. But here is the nuance. Just because something is indifferent does not mean you should be careless about it. Health is indifferent in the sense that your virtue does not depend on being healthy. A virtuous person can be sick or well. But still, health is preferred. It is easier to live virtuously when you are healthy. So you prefer it, even though you do not depend on it. Money is the same. Wealth is indifferent. Your virtue does not require riches, but reasonable comfort is preferred because it removes certain obstacles. Imagine a person who is indifferent about money in the wrong way. They think, virtue does not require wealth, so I will ignore all practical concerns. I will not work. I will not save. I will not think about tomorrow. This person has misunderstood the teaching. They have become reckless. The real teaching is this: do your best to secure the things that make life easier to live well. Health, reasonable security, good relationships. But do not make them your purpose. Do not sacrifice your integrity to get them. Do not become enslaved to them. Picture someone who works hard at a job they believe in, earns enough to live with some comfort, and does not spend sleepless nights worried about money because they have done what is in their control. They have preferred the indifferent well. They have used wisdom about practical things while keeping their heart focused on what truly matters. This balance is delicate. You must care about these practical things. You must plan. You must work. But you must not care about them more than you care about who you are becoming. You must not become so obsessed with security that you lose sight of meaning. You must not pursue comfort so fiercely that you forget what comfort is for. Tonight, as you rest, you might notice the practical comforts around you: the bed, the roof, the safety. You can be grateful for these things. You can appreciate them. And at the same time, you can know that they are not what makes you valuable. What makes you valuable is how you treat others, what you choose when no one is watching, how you respond to difficulty. That is what matters. These comforts are gifts. Enjoy them, but do not mistake them for the point of your life. Chapter 5. The Circles of Concern. The last idea tonight is about where you direct your attention and energy, and it is called the circles of concern. The Stoics understood that you cannot care for everything equally. You are one person with limited time and energy, so they suggested you think of your relationships and responsibilities as circles. At the center is yourself, your own character, your own virtue, your own mind. This is the circle where you have the most power and the most responsibility. Around that is your immediate family, the people who depend on you most directly. You care for them. You make choices that affect them, but you still recognize you cannot control them. Beyond that is your community, your friends, your colleagues, people you interact with regularly. You treat them well, but you understand your responsibility is different here. You cannot manage their lives, and then the circles expand outward, to your nation, to humanity, to all living things. These are circles where you have influence, but increasingly little control. The teaching is this: do not neglect the inner circles to attend to the outer ones. Do not become so focused on changing the world that you abandon the person beside you. Do not become so busy with distant causes that you forget to be kind to your family. Imagine a person who is passionate about helping people in distant lands, but is cold and dismissive to their own child. They have gotten the circles wrong. They have skipped over what is near and real to reach for what is far and abstract. The Stoic approach is this: master the inner circles first. Become a person of integrity. Treat your family with genuine love. Be honest in your immediate relationships. From that foundation, help others, but not by abandoning those closest to you. This does not mean you should be selfish. It means you should be wise about where your power actually is. You have enormous power in your immediate circles. You can shape the tone of your family. You can influence your friends. You can contribute meaningfully to your community. But the farther out you reach, the less control you have. So do not exhaust yourself trying to control distant things while ignoring what you can actually shape. Tonight, as you rest, you might gently notice the people in your inner circles, the ones who depend on you, the ones you depend on. You might whisper a small intention. Tomorrow, I will practice being present to those nearest me. I will remember that my care begins at home. That is enough thinking for one night. 5 small ideas, none of them needing to be solved before morning. Voluntary discomfort. The passions as errors. Seneca on the shortness of life. Preferred indifference. The circles of concern. Let them settle in you quietly, like stones finding their place in still water. You do not need to become perfect. You do not need to understand everything tonight. Just let these thoughts rest with you as you rest. Tomorrow is new. For now, breathe. Let your mind grow soft. You have done well today simply by being here, by listening, by opening yourself to these old and gentle truths. Sleep now and trust that wisdom works even in silence. Rest well. This is Atlas, signing off.